All right, so I'm making this video because I don't really know what other outlet I can put this on, and I'm kind of just confused and torn at this point. Um, Recently, Ramon Dino was at weigh-ins for the Olympia, and he didn't make weight, or at least there was a scare that he didn't make weight. Obviously, now we all know that he did, but the problem lies in the fact that every single competition and championship that this man has done prior to this, he's been the same height. And out of nowhere, at this Olympia, they heighted him in at almost an inch shorter than what he normally heights in at. Now, they allowed him to re-height in after his coach, I think his coach is Chris Aceto. After they allowed him to re-height one more time, he ended up heighting in at the correct height that he always had been. Now, this is something that every single person has been saying in classic physique for the longest time now, is that there needs to be a one-time height check, and that is it. You get a little card that says this is your height, and it's signed off by freaking Tyler Mannion, whoever the hell it needs to be from the IFBB. But somebody needs to make that rule that heights are permanent. So you get heighted in one time, you get a card that says this is your height, and that's that. Because now you're going to have athletes that have put everything on the line in order to be at this competition, the Olympia. And these are all guys that are going to do whatever it takes in order to be on that stage because they've already done whatever it takes to even qualify to be on that stage in the first place. But now you've got these guys, you know, that are they're on the ropes basically saying, "Oh shoot, I got to lose 7 pounds in like an hour." And think about that. I mean, some of them are going to try to do it, because imagine losing that opportunity just because you can't make weight. Some of them are going to go try to sit in a sauna for an hour, take a laxative, an enema, whatever it is to make that weight. They're going to put their bodies through the ringer when they're already at the most depleted point they've ever been at. It's not only risking the athlete's health, but it's a pointless, completely mundane thing to height somebody in every single show. I understand the weight. Weigh them in every single time. That's obvious. If you're going to put a weight cap on it, do it. Weigh them in every single time because that fluctuates. But your height should not be checked every single time. It just makes no sense. I don't understand that, and it's never made sense. It's such a stupid rule that the IFBB and the NPC has created. And the even more ridiculous thing is that the heighting rules aren't even consistent from the NPC to the IFBB because the NPC groups their height classes by quarters of inches and the IFBB does it by whole inches. Why is there no consistency? This is again, this goes back to like, and sorry for my voice, I've been sick for a while, but I don't even make videos like this. This is just kind of like me ranting at this point. But I'm so frustrated after seeing something like this because this happened to me at my first classic show where they tried to hype me in at 5'9", and I knew for a fact that I was 5'10" and 3/4, and I was blown away because I was like, "There's no possible way that I can be 5'9" when at my every other thing that I've ever done in my life, I've always been 5'10" and 3/4. So, and I remember I even asked the guy, like, that doesn't make sense. Can I re-height? And he said no. And so I'm like scratching my head, and I got angry at that point, and I demanded to be re-heighted. And so I ended up walking to the next line over because they had like four lines where these dudes were heighting in and get weighted in. And I said screw it, and I walked over the other line, and they heighted me in at 5'10" and 3/4. Like, and they were about to turn me away. So, and I remember at that same show, they also the scale was inaccurate. So I had to walk over to another scale too to get my weight done again because I knew what I weighed. I weighed myself before I left to go weigh in because the show was in San Antonio. I live in San Antonio, so I weighed myself before I left my house and I knew what I was weighing. I was 198.6, and I went to the show having not and it's a 20-minute drive, having not drank anything or done anything. They weighed me in at like 204 on this scale. And I was like, there's no way I gained 6 pounds on the drive here in 20 minutes. So, same thing. I had to go to a different scale and a different height taker thing. I don't even know what they're called. I don't know what they use there, but whatever it's called, just to get an accurate measurement. And they were trying to deny me the opportunity to even have it retaken. Think about that. And think about how the fact, whatever, if it's at an amateur level show, fine. But If you've got the best of the best, these guys have been competing for a long time. They know how the system works. They know how to predict what they should be weighing, and they know that they're going to get heightened at the same thing every single time. How are you going to misheight them every single? Sorry, not every single time. How are you going to misheight them at the biggest stage of all? When and again, it goes back to the health and safety of these guys because these guys are going to do whatever it takes in order to be on that stage. So I know for a fact Ramon Dino was probably thinking, all right, what do I got to do to drop 7 pounds in an hour? I'll do it. And that's probably what he was going through his mind at the time. And if it wasn't for his coach demanding that they rehide him, he would have done it. And he could have died. Like, I don't know. Maybe I'm thinking too much into this, but the IFBB and the NPC really needs to put their heads together and figure out a way to make permanent heights a thing. If you're going to have height requirements, fine. But don't make them take the height every single time. It's not like it's that big of a fluctuating and moving target for somebody's height to change that much in between shows. Like, eh, do you guys know of anybody that loses an inch in a year, 2 years? Maybe if I was an old man, I'd shrink, but these are young guys. They're not shrinking inches in a matter of like a year. He just did the Arnold Classic. What point does it make to hide him in again? I understand the weight. Makes perfect sense. But the height thing has got to stop. It's really putting clients' health at risk. Not clients. It puts competitors' health at risk and it makes them rethink their entire strategy for the show. So I don't know. That's my rant. Just a little snippet. I never make videos like this, but it was so frustrating to see that shit happen to him. He didn't deserve it, and it was a total black eye on the IFBB for doing something like that, and to cause a massive scare for all the Brazilian fans, all the Ramon Dino fans, and even all the classic physique fans. Because this is another reason why people are so apprehensive to have these height requirements, and why everyone's so adamant that there needs to be permanent height assignments. Anyways, that's it. Rant over. Check out that pro card up there. I just won that shit. It's awesome.